Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. I'm sure you can tell by the title of this video that it is going to be all about postpartum items that I particularly didn't use. It doesn't mean that you won't use them, but throughout my postpartum journey, I either reached for these items once or twice, or I didn't reach for them at all. So I'm going to share those with you so that way you guys don't waste your money on them if you're wondering what items you may need or what items you may not need. So I'm gonna share that with you guys today. I do want you to keep in mind though that my recovery was pretty easy and quick. I did not tear, so I really, I had pain down there. I was sore, but I definitely didn't have as much pain as someone who has torn. So some of these items might be useful to you if you did tear, and I don't know, maybe they won't be useful to you, but I figured that I would share what I use with you guys in hopes that maybe it'll help you if you're wondering what you should spend your money on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right on in to the first item that I think you can save money on. So I have my list on my phone here. I always use the Notes app. That's like my favorite thing on my phone. So I constantly write stuff in there. So that is what I'm going to be looking at. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the brightness for you guys. So that, I think that's good. Hopefully that's not too bright. Okay, so like I said, I have a list of things on my phone for you guys. And the first item would be Tute Pads. Now, I know a lot of people recommend these in must-have videos and stuff like that, and a lot of people swear by them. Like I said, I didn't tear, so I'm not too sure if that has something to do with it, but even in the hospital, I was very sore. The best way to describe it is almost feeling like I had a paper cut down there, and it stung really, really bad when I went to the bathroom. For probably the first week, it stung really bad. So I guess that's kind of comparable to tearing. I'm not really too sure. I've never tore. This was my first baby, so I don't have any other experiences other than this one. But I know that a lot of people say when you tear and you go to the bathroom, it sucks because of the stitches and stinging. So I had I guess a minor laceration or something. I'm not really too sure, but I would describe it as a paper cut. And so when I went to the bathroom, it would sting really bad. Now, I never grabbed for the Tute Pads. I don't know if it's just because it was an extra step that I would have to do to put it into my pad or what it was, but I never grabbed for them. I know that they're meant to be cooling and a soothing sensation, but I never grabbed for them. So I would say that you could skip out on Tux because I don't see them being very useful or helpful. There's plenty of other items that you could use in place of that. So I know they're not very expensive, but if you're trying to save as much money as possible, you're on a budget. I know there's a lot of young moms out there just like me who are trying to save as much money as possible and only get the necessities. So I would definitely go ahead and say that you could scratch the Tute Pads because I didn't use them and I don't think they're very helpful. But yeah, so that would be the first thing. The second item would be the adult diapers, ones that instead of just getting a pad and putting it into your underwear, it's an actual diaper, kind of like the Depends. I'm sure you've heard of Depends. It's a disposable diaper. So instead of having to wear a pad, you just put those on. But I feel like that is very just not convenient, especially for once you are home and out of the hospital. Maybe in the hospital it's convenient, but while I was there, I just used what they provided to me. That seemed to work fine. I enjoyed their disposable underwear because I was bleeding so much that I didn't want to ruin any of my underwear, so I just used those so that I could toss them if they did get ruined. But once I came home, I just got some pads that you would use like if you were on your period or something like that, just like the thin, not too thin enough to where it'll still catch the blood, but just something that's not as noticeable underneath of pants or leggings like the adult diapers would be. I just feel like those would be very noticeable, so I resorted towards getting some underwear like granny panty underwear and then just putting a pad in those. And then that way I can just use those same pads when I start my period if I start it before the like pelvic rest 6-week timeline is up. Clearly if it's after then, I will just use tampons, but I figured the pads would be like multi-purpose, multi-use if I happen to start my period before the 6-week time mark is up. So I would definitely say you could skip out on the diapers and just use pads. They're 1, cheaper, and 2, more comfortable in my opinion, but everyone has the right to their own opinion. Everyone thinks and feels differently about things, so you might be different than me, but just my advice to you, I would just go for underwear and a pad. Simple, easy, and way more comfortable to me. So the third item that I would say is not necessary would be ice packs. So a lot of people make like witch hazel pads, and I think it's like witch hazel and something else, and then you freeze them, and they're supposed to be they're supposed to serve as an ice pack, and it's supposed to be soothing and cooling. Once again, this is kind of like the Tux pad thing. In the beginning at the hospital, I used the few ice packs that they provided for me, but then once I didn't have any more of them, I didn't even grab for them, didn't even think to grab for them. So I would skip out on that. I think that's a little bit extra, but once again, I didn't tear, so I'm not really too sure if that has anything to do with it. But I will say that having an ice pack down there is just kind of uncomfortable and bulky, and it's just very inconvenient. So if you're thinking about making those witch hazel pads, maybe make a few of them, see if they work out for you, and then if they do, you can make more. But I wouldn't go out and buy a whole pack of pads and make like 40 different witch hazel ice pack pads, because I don't know, I just think they just kind of get in the way in my opinion. So I would say try it out first, see if you like it, see if that's for you, and then if it is, great, use them. But I personally did not use them, did not find them very comfortable. They just kind of, honestly, they irritated me more down there than they did help. And it's very, very cold in the beginning, so that part is uncomfortable too until you get used to it. And then you're already sensitive down there as it is. So I would say skip out on the ice packs. So the fourth thing that I personally would say skip out on is the Frida bottle. Now I know a lot of people are probably going to say that I'm crazy, and when I say skip out on, I don't mean like don't use it at all. I know there's like this fancier squirt bottle, it's blue and it has like the curve on it. I think that is the Frida, I'm not too sure, I believe that's what it's called, but I honestly didn't use that one. I just used what the hospital gave me. So if you're, like I said, on a budget and trying to save money, then I wouldn't purchase that one. I think the hospital one works perfectly fine. Once again, I didn't tear, so maybe tearing and having stitches, maybe it's more helpful with the little like angle that the other squirt bottle has, because the hospital one is just a plain squirt bottle with it's not angled, so it's not as easy to use. But for me, the hospital one worked perfectly fine, and honestly I only used it for maybe a week once we got home, and then I was just able to wipe normally. So I personally wouldn't buy the fancier squirt bottle. I don't think it's necessary, but That's totally up to you, and clearly you're probably watching this video before you give birth, so you're not really gonna know if you're going to tear or not. So maybe it's better to be safe than sorry, but if you are on a budget, I would say that you could totally skip out on it and you would be perfectly fine. The fifth item that I would say is definitely not worth the money are the like nipple cooling gel pads. Now, I don't know if you've heard of these, but it's basically this like pad that you can place on your nipple after a feeding or after pumping, and it is supposed to be cooling and soothing. I haven't really had much of an issue with breastfeeding and latching and stuff like that, so my nipples really haven't been that irritated. I know TMI, but you clicked on a postpartum video, so what did you expect? But yeah, my nipples really haven't been that irritated, so I haven't used really any of the nipple postpartum items that I purchased. So I would say maybe purchase one or two of the items and then see if you use them. Don't go overboard on purchasing items for your boobs and your breasts, because not everyone has the same experience as like the horror stories you see about breastfeeding and latching. So I would say skip out on those. I think they're a little bit extra. I think if you like needed something to cool down there, you could just literally like get a bag of ice out of your freezer and like put it in a plastic sandwich baggie and just like put that on your nipple and it'd be fine. So like I said, if you want the luxury, go ahead and grab them, pick them up, order them on Amazon, do what you gotta do. But if you're on a budget and you're trying to save as much coin as possible, then I would say you could skip out on them because they're not necessary in my opinion. The last postpartum item is also booby related, and that would be nipple cream. Now, I ordered the like Medela nipple cream because I heard really good things about it, and I figured I was going to need it like all the time because I've never breastfed before. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew my nipples were going to be so butchered and cracked and blistered and all of that fun, not fun stuff. So I went ahead and ordered more than one tube of that, and I haven't opened any of them. I haven't even reached for any of them. Now, that could just be me because I'm not having any issues, but honestly, if you could wait and you feel comfortable with waiting, maybe wait until you give birth and you're in the hospital, because you're going to be in the hospital for a little bit afterwards. And if you don't want to bring that with you to the hospital and you don't think you'll use it until you get home, maybe wait and see how your nipples react while you're in the hospital, getting accustomed to everything. And then if you do end up needing it, you could always order it on Amazon, because with Amazon Prime, it'll get to you within like 2 days. So if you think you'll need it when you're in the hospital because breastfeeding's not going that well, then order it and it'll be there before you get home. But if once again you're trying to save money and you're trying to skip out on unnecessary items, for me that was an unnecessary item. I'm not going to use it, at least not, I haven't used it. I don't foresee myself using it, but I mean, things could always change and I could always grab for it, but I don't think it's something that you need to like stock up on. I think if you do want to go ahead and grab it just to be safe, getting one tube of it would be fine. Don't be like me and go and order like 2 or 3 of them, because that's not necessary. I don't even think you would go through one tube, but I mean, maybe it just depends on your boobs and how your nipples take to breastfeeding a baby. But yeah, so I hope this video was helpful. I definitely can say that my postpartum experience has been different than a lot of things that I've seen on the internet and on YouTube and stuff like that. I don't know if it has anything to do with me being young, or if it has anything to do with just like my lifestyle, my eating habits, my just all of that stuff. I'm not really too sure, but everyone is different, so I figured I would hop on here and make this video because I see a lot of postpartum must-have videos, and some of those items for me were necessary and some of them I didn't really need. So that's what I shared with you guys today in this video. Hopefully it helped at least one of you that is watching this. If it did, then make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below so you can see all the videos that I have coming. And my next video, like I said, is going to be a all about my postpartum journey thus far. I'm 2 weeks postpartum, so if you want to see that, then come back next time so that you can see that video. And yeah, so that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.